Welcome to Maker Conversations. I'm your host, Tiff Marchand from NIGHTCARVER Designs, and today on the show I have Andy from Andy Bird Builds. And Andy is a CNC guy. He does a lot of other things, but that's where I found him. I had bought a X-Carve many years ago. Never liked it, but I worked it until I could get my Onefinity CNC, which I freaking love. But we're not going to talk about CNCs. We're not going to trash them. I just want to say, that's how I discovered him, and I really loved what he was doing on his YouTube channel and on his page. I just thought he was a really nice guy, very relatable, and I was excited to sit down and chat with him. We did get stood up by Bao from Bao Loud Designs, and it hurt. It hurt a lot. And we are going to harass him about it as much as we can. But anyways, I hope you enjoy this interview, and just a shout out to Sabertooth for sponsoring this show. They're an amazing company, and I really, really appreciate them. And actually, I want to give a couple other shout outs. Serious Grit, you guys are dope. Thank you for sending us more paper for Workbench Con. Apologies, for Makers Camp, because I can't wait to use it there. They had just supplied me some from my shop, and I didn't want to bring it to Makers Camp, I'll be honest. So I reached back out, and they were super agreeable and sent us some more. So I am pumped. And same thing with Parcel Safety. Thank you guys for sending us masks to protect us while we're going to be carving at Makers Camp. All right, I'm done. Have a great day. Enjoy getting to know Andy. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Good. I don't think the co-host I had lined up is making it because I haven't heard from him today. Did I tell you who I asked? I asked Bao to come on because I thought that'd be a lot of fun.
Oh, that would.
Yeah, but he hasn't read the message, so I'm assuming he's with family. We'll say that.
Yeah, that sounds like Bao.
I was gonna say maybe some kind of kid did something or
Those kids will get you
every time. Do you have kids?
Time. Oh yeah, got I've got a 15-month-old.
Oh yes.
So
I'm glad I'm past that.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's exhausting.
It is.
You can be honest, but it's good. No, but
it's weird, isn't it? It's like the coolest thing ever, but it's also like the hardest thing ever.
Mm-hmm.
So
no, it's absolutely the most exhausting thing ever. But yeah, it is the coolest thing. And then when mine are 6, so I have twins, twin boys. Oh. And yeah, that's why my experience is extra exhausting. Maybe. Yeah. But now their personalities are coming through, and oh my God, I thought I was funny, and I thought I had like a quick landing on stuff and delivery, but I got to keep up with them now, and it's great. I'm like, okay, so now it's just a house of comedians. I'm cool with this.
That's all. As long as you're not the butt of the joke, right?
I kind of get to be target, I'm sure.
Yeah. It happens.
Everyone wants to harass mom. Why not?
Right. Twin boy, or you say boys, right?
Yeah, twin boys. Yep.
Whew. I mean, I don't know. After doing one, I just can't imagine. I know it's one of those things where you just figure it out as you go, right? Yep. But doubling diapers and feeding and stuff, I'm good for you. I'm just going to say that. Good for you.
It is not a dark secret to my listeners that I had that postpartum depression, had to dig out of all of that. Yeah. It definitely was a lot.
Yeah. For sure. I stayed home. I work from home, so of course I stayed home. But my wife is a teacher, and so last school year, I was the primary caregiver while she was at work. Yep. And that was
it's intense, right?
Very intense, and it's not for everyone. And I don't want to do that. It was great, and we formed a really close bond, and we spent so much time together. But I don't really want to do that again.
Yeah.
At least the whole 5-day a week thing.
Having help. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah, the whole last year, like the last school year, when I say last year,
Mm-hmm.
we, my wife would go to work, and like I would, stay at home, do the whole taking care of a baby thing. And
Mm-hmm.
then when she would get home around 4 o'clock, we would just switch. And
Yep.
so I would go to work and we'd hand the baby off. And so that was really, really hard. One, we didn't see each other much, but two, it felt like like things didn't have their place, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
things were constantly pulling
Yep.
at each other.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, I should be working. Oh, I should be spending time with the family. Oh, you know what I mean? So
Yeah, you experience what we call mom guilt. You know what I mean? Like when you step away from that and then you're like, should I be away? Like I
yeah,
should go back. I should be with my family. Like you don't hear a lot of guys have that experience, and that's interesting to hear. It's tough, isn't it? Like,
oh my goodness,
it eats
like,
away at you because it's hard to focus at the task at hand.
100%. Like
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't focus on anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I just felt like I mean, honestly, I did go through some depressive states, like, and it wasn't like towards the end. So I would say, so the school year started in, let's just say, Labor Day.
Mm-hmm.
The first, couple months, I realized like, oh crap, like this is more than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, how am I going to get this work done, right?
Yep.
Like I got to keep. So my wife, it's no secret, my wife being a teacher, she doesn't make all the money in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to produce income as well.
Yep.
So about Christmas, it really got to me. And I was like, I went through a lot of doubt too. Like, why can't I do this? I should be able to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yep.
and it wasn't until a friend, my friend Katie, who she has 2 kids that are 2 and 4, and our families are, we met in college. Our families are friends, but one
That's
day
awesome.
one day I was talking to her about it, and she was like, why do you think you can do both things like well? And I was like, I mean, that's just me. Like, if I'm gonna do something, like I need to do it well, like not just surviving. And she's like, yeah, but you're literally trying to work 2 full-time jobs. And like, why don't you think that's a lot? And I was like, that's a good point. So, but isn't that interesting that like I didn't realize that until I talked to somebody that had dealt with the same thing.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it. Yep. And honestly, if Joe Schmo told me that, I wouldn't have listened to him, you know. But the fact that she had been there, and she, I was like, oh, okay, maybe there's something. And I respect her. She's very hardworking. She's in the Air Force.
Nice.
And I was like, if she can't do it, then not can't. I don't say it in a bad way. But
no, it's a struggle.
if it's a struggle for her, why wouldn't it be a struggle for me? So, anyways, we got some help after that.
Great.
And we had a lady from our church help us out 1 day a week. So that gave me, I was down to 4 days. And but then we put him in daycare this year, and that's been the best thing ever for him. It's been best for me, for all of us. So now, I know we went through a lot there, but
no, I think that's great. This is really nice to hear from the male perspective. It is.
Well, I hope so.
It really is. It's fascinating because you hear females struggling with this. So
yeah, no, like I did struggle with it. Like what? It sounds like really deep, but I was like, what am I doing with my life? Like, changing diapers and feeding bottles and staring at ceiling fans.
Yeah, it's all necessary things, but it is really hard.
Yeah,
it takes you away from who you were for those moments, and you lose it, and then you just become this machine. Like least that's what I couldn't even think. Like, it was just like, okay, next thing. Okay.
Yeah. And, that looking back on it, like, that's probably some of the, in my mind,
Mm-hmm.
that's some of the most important work that I'll ever do.
Yeah.
Like, raising your kids and, like, that work should matter. And it does.
Mm-hmm.
I say work, but
No, I know what you mean.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like those tasks or that part of life should be significant. But it's like, there's just so much monotony in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you said it really, really good. Like, um, it takes you away from who you were.
Yep.
And so me being a very, I like to think of myself as a high achiever. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I put myself into things, and
No, I can see that from you. I'm very similar. Just talking to you, I can see we both have that drive where you just keep
yes,
pushing yourself and you want to do better and do
yep,
more, take on more, even if it kills you. And then you have to
yep,
set boundaries. I'm sure. Like, I've been trying
yes,
to set boundaries with my responsibilities,
yep.
which I do talk to friends about. I have people who I voice it to, and I'm like, I'm not going to do this weekend. And they're like, good for you. Like, they have to cheer you on. Like,
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, 100%. And
Yep.
so going from that, to, being dad,
Mm-hmm.
and not knowing what that even means. Like, I don't know what that looks like.
Yep.
I've never raised a kid before.
Mm-hmm.
And figuring all that out. Yeah. So anyways, it was a struggle. I have so much respect, for moms that not that I didn't have it before, because I just want to make sure people know where I'm coming from, but,
Yep.
but I just didn't, realize that. And, yeah, like, and then having multiple kids, and then thinking about, like, my mom growing up, and then realizing, like, what she did for us. She
Mm-hmm.
worked, and she also took care of my sister and I, and yeah, go moms. Like,
Right. It's tough. And
like,
go stay at home dads too. Let's cheer them on too.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Anybody
yes,
who's staying home with your kids all day, seriously,
yes,
it's a lot. And then all of us who do that and then are makers as well on top of
yeah,
that,
yeah,
but that's
for
like
sure.
your therapy to me, that at least for me, like when I get to go out to that garage or into the basement, I'm like, ah.
Yeah, it is therapy for me, but, um,
It's
at
work
least it's
too.
work. Yeah,
It's work.
yeah,
You're
um,
recording. You're like recording purposeful content
yeah,
for people on YouTube. So
yes,
it's real work for you.
yes.
Yeah.
And, but it is therapy when I don't have to turn the camera on,
Mm-hmm.
and I can just go create something that's on my mind. Like, and that's really, really important. I think it's really easy to put to the side.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of makers, like, that's how or why they started.
Right. Exactly.
And then it grew into something else, and then you lose the whole purpose of why you started it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I do have to remember to get back to that, and just create something that's on your mind for the fun of it, and don't feel like you have to, take a picture of it or put it on camera. Like, I don't want to put this on Instagram. Like, I don't care. Like, not that I don't care about you Instagram fans, but
No, I get it.
yeah,
You're recording for a bigger thing, like it's all these snippets I assume are that we're seeing on Instagram are just parts of the videos that you're
yeah,
making. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So, Instagram. So I started on. We're kind of all over the place, but anyways,
No one cares. It's fine. Keep going.
perfect. It's just like
It's
a
a
thread.
conversation.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I started on Instagram back in 2018. And it was like the biggest deal to me. Like, I wasn't a person that, like, posts on social media a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I was really nervous to even like post like a static shot.
I read your caption. I was laughing at it. I went
Yeah.
down and checked. It was like, I've come out of my dark shadows of
Yes,
Instagram.
yes. Yeah, I did, like, because I was just one of those people on the edge for a long time, right? Just kind of lurking in the shadows. It's so funny that you read that.
Did you have the account, or were you like on a personal account that you were lurking?
It's a good question. I think I had the account. Yeah, I had the account.
I was curious because like maybe you're that person who was talking to other makers but not posting anything.
No,
No,
I was
okay,
just
straight
strictly
lurking. Okay.
Yeah, straight lurking.
Okay.
Yeah, I was a straight lurker.
Not
Oh,
even
geez.
liking the post, just scrolling by them.
Just scrolling by. So that's where I started. And honestly, the intent of that, like obviously this whole Andy Bird Builds thing has grown in ways that some I intended, some of them I didn't intend, or I didn't know were possible. So I didn't have, it's not like I had all this planned, but my initial purpose for starting to post on Instagram was to just document, almost like just a portfolio.
Yep, that makes sense.
And I didn't care about likes, or I didn't know anybody really. I didn't know what I was doing. But yeah, just kind of documenting that, because I thought that whatever this turned into, because I was hoping it would turn into something, at least I would have it documented. Or does that make sense?
No, it does. It makes total sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you were back then too, people were building galleries. Like people were scrolling the whole page and they were just admiring all of the photos and stuff, because it wasn't full of videos that you had to click on. So people, like, the overall gallery was the end goal. It's just like, oh, let me look at all this beautiful stuff. Let me scroll through this. It's amazing how much it's transformed in like 5 years, you know? It's crazy. Because I started posting on Instagram in 2018 myself, but I was doing like Facebook and stuff before. So it was like a mixture of photos and videos naturally on there. And then when I transitioned to Instagram, it was different. I don't know. It's a whole different world there. Way better than Facebook.
Way better than Facebook. So I actually, I decided pretty early on that my Facebook page, I do have an Andy Bird Builds Facebook page that I don't do much with now, but for me personally, Facebook, and it's still to this day, is for all my personal stuff. So family, close friends, stuff like that. If you ask me to be if someone invites me to be their friend on Facebook, or whatever we call it these days, I don't know. That isn't kind of in that close circle, I tell them no. And then Instagram was for everything outside of that, and kind of business at first, and then because I was on Instagram before I was on YouTube.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. And then YouTube, I was still on Instagram. I was trying to grow a following, an audience on Instagram. And then I made a decision pretty early on to switch my focus as far as growth goes to YouTube. And I feel like a lot of the makers that started around the same time as me, continued with Instagram. And that was a really hard decision for me, because I saw all of them growing, and I saw all of them doing that, but I had to ask myself, why? Okay, what are my goals? And growing my Instagram account didn't really accomplish my goals for what I wanted.
It's a tough choice.
It is. And I feel like to grow a following on a platform, and I'll say this generally for every platform is very different. Even if they look similar, they all have their nuances. And in order to be good, unless you're a major brand, right, where you already have a following, then it's different. But if you're just an individual,
Actually, even if you're a brand, it's hard to grow. I'm having a hard time getting Sabertooth's growth on YouTube going.
Really?
I gotta really start focusing on it. They have 390 followers. I'm like, come on.
Yeah. Wow. Yes, that's true. But yeah, so what I found is that you just need to focus where you want to grow. You have to focus and be intentional. And so I chose YouTube just because of the monetary
Exactly.
component. So
No, it's a smart choice. Now, when you went into it, like, did you have years and years of skills behind you for woodworking, or was everything kind of new and you were just kind of sharing as you learned?
the second option, I did
Yeah.
not have, yeah. So the experience for woodworking kind of picked up around that early 2018. Trying to think, it was either late 2017 or early 2018 is when I really started. Like I made my first cutting board or things like that. Before that, it was strictly just DIY stuff on our house. So we own our house. We bought it in 2014. So I'd say 2014 is when I started gathering tools to do projects around the house. But I wasn't really woodworking. I was just more, DIY
Getting the
stuff.
getting the necessary tools to get those jobs done.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I was very much like even CNC, like that's very much, it was sharing as I was doing it. And it still is that way.
I saw you just upgraded. Yeah.
I did.
Your build video. I had to watch it. I was dying because it is intimidating to see that many boxes come in.
Oh my goodness.
I won't buy an Avid CNC because I would have to pay the option to have somebody come and assemble it for me because I'm not going through it. And I'm watching you open all those boxes up and I'm like, oh yeah.
It was, man, it was a build. It was a build and it was bigger than I thought it was going to be. But I will say the pride that you get looking back.
Oh, I'm sure.
On it. Like I put in, like I had a couple of friends come over and I was showing them it and I was like, yeah, every nut and every bolt that you see here, every screw, I put that in there. So
the NIGHTCARVER I had took long enough. I couldn't even imagine. I'm like, no way.
Yeah, it was pretty good, but I'm really excited to have that in the shop. And it's a process getting up and going. For people that haven't seen that, but I've got an Avid Pro 4848, so a 4 foot by 4 foot cutting bed, which is going to be massive.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And but it's in the garage, and it's the first machine in the garage. Everything else is in the basement.
Oh, okay.
So it's been a process of working, just kind of I'm making over that space to be functional.
Are you going to start bringing tools up to your shop, do you think, or to your garage?
I don't think so.
No. Okay.
I thought about it initially, but my wife is really set on parking in there.
Okay. No, it's a valid concern. Get a carport.
So, yeah, right.
I like that. Tell my husband, I'm like, we need a carport by next year. Like that's a must because I've just been doing far too much stuff and my garage is far too small, Yes. I'm like,
yeah. So it's been a process, and it's still I've got to get the next steps are dust collection and the spoil board. I've got it on there. I just need to cut the layout that I'm going to use. And work holding that I'm going to use. And then I'm going to paint like a cool backdrop.
Awesome.
One thing I'm really trying to do is being in the basement, you're so limited with lighting and colors. And I feel like my YouTube videos, and they're fine. Don't get me wrong, but they're a little brown. They need to be brighter. So I'm putting a lot more effort into the garage to get that space looking really nice. So it comes across.
It's very important. It is. My shop upstairs, like my garage, it still needs work. It's slowly getting there, but It's come a long way, though. I gotta
Yeah.
say, from where it started, it's come a long way. But man, it still looks like a college dorm room up there, you know?
Yeah. I get comments on YouTube videos sometimes, man, invest in some better lighting, or, like you need to paint your walls. And I'm like, I don't disagree with you. But at the end of the day, like, you have to prioritize um, what you're gonna do, and that's just been a low priority. So
Yeah.
I feel like with content, there's like, for me anyways, like I focus a lot on the content itself. Like, I don't have the most expensive camera. I don't have the best lighting. All those things I believe are adequate. The best sound, which I will say sound is more important than all those things.
Right. Yeah.
But I spent a lot of time writing. Believe it or not, like, I never thought I would write a YouTube, like, but I write all my content out, and I put a lot into the actual content itself. And so that's where I put my effort.
Is that where you started with? Did you start writing scripts from the very beginning, or is that something you adapted?
I adapted.
Okay.
Yep.
I was curious.
Yeah. So if you look at my YouTube journey, I started in the DIY videos. And that's kind of, so I know you and I've talked before, but Bob Claggett from I Like to Make Stuff is a good friend of mine. We live in the same town, and I guess, yeah, we can go down this rabbit hole. That's fine. I was going to go somewhere else, but we'll go here first. Then it'll make more sense. But yeah, so Bob, I would really consider him a mentor of mine. Like, that's the kind of relationship we have. It's not just like, oh, Bob, from I Like to Make Stuff. So the friendship is very, very important to me. And I actually met him coaching his daughter's like youth basketball team.
Oh, that's funny. Very cool.
Yeah. And so I had no idea. I was the assistant coach. And so I didn't know who was on the team. I just showed up for practices and helped. And I actually met his wife first. And then Jenny, his wife, connected us together. And I had just started woodworking at the time. I had made that basic cutting board and just basic stuff. And he was really interested in what I was doing. That was kind of cool.
He seems like he's a genuine person. You know what I mean? Like,
very genuine guy. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I'm kind of giving the Cliff Notes version here. But anyways, that's kind of how, I asked him if he wanted to have lunch. And we just built that relationship. And that was, 4 years ago now. And so I kind of modeled my content after his, which was really, really dumb in hindsight, but that's what I knew, right?
Yeah.
The reason it was really, really dumb. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say, a lot of people do that, though, is they have someone they really admire or like, and they try to model. Like, this is not like it's a copy, but it's a modeling of their techniques and how they deliver things. So
exactly,
it's not uncommon when you're first learning who you are,
That's a great point. I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah.
So that's where I started. And the reason I say it was dumb, not because what Bob does is dumb, but because to think that I was capable of that was naive of me. But again,
is it the intro too? I'm just thinking that because I watched one of your earlier ones today, and it's like, hey, I'm Andy, and come see what I'm making.
Yeah, if you,
right?
I try not to go back too far and look at those. But yeah, I mean, there's probably even, so I just kind of took his natural structure, going from on a project, going from talking head to montage to talking head to montage to talking head to montage. if you look at their videos, I like to make stuff videos. That's kind of their flow. And so that's where I started, and it's really hard to do and be good at it. Bob is a very good deliverer of information. He's very direct. He's very direct isn't the right word, but he's very concise in his speaking.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
So anyways, that's where I started. It worked out well, but I filmed the first 30 videos on my YouTube channel on my cell phone. The first one the very first video I edited, I did it on a computer that was like, and I did it like on Windows Movie Maker.
So real bare bones.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And I probably spent 20 hours editing that thing, and it was, the video was very bad.
I'm sure it's not that bad, but you're just because of how far you've come. Yeah.
I mean, it was pretty bad.
All right, now I have to go watch it.
Oh, gee. No one go watch it. I'm going to unlist it.
I say unlist it. Unlist it now.
Yeah. But anyways, no, I'm just trying to draw a picture where I started. Like I started with no experience in videography, like editing. Like that wasn't me. What I did before this, and actually what I was doing when I started, I actually went to college to be a sports turf manager.
Okay.
So I grew grass for a living, and that's kind of the joke is like, no, I didn't go to college to grow grass. And they're like, what kind of grass did you grow? You know?
Yeah. I'm sure you do get asked that a lot.
Oh, I got asked that a lot. But so think like NFL, MLB, like fields, like that's what I did.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah. So I did that for about a decade, and long story short, basically stumbled upon woodworking when my day job wasn't going very well. I just needed something else to do. And that's kind of where this was born out of. But anyways, so I didn't have any background in media, anything. And so everything that I've learned up to this point, like everything I've done, I've had to learn.
Yeah. I love that, because there's a lot of people like you who are scared. They want to go into it, but they maybe think they're not ready, but you just got to do it.
You just have to do it. So when you're starting, you just have to do it. No matter how ugly it is, no matter how many obstacles come in your way, you just have to set your mind to it. Like, I'm going to do this no matter what. And I recommend give yourself I'm going to make 20 videos and I'm going to see where that gets me. And I'm going to do that no matter what. Like, I don't care what it takes, 20 videos or 10 videos. And that's what I'm going to do.
I say 20 would probably intimidate somebody. 10's more achievable feeling. But no, I know what you're saying though, because it takes a little while for you to get used to it too, and you're going to get better and better as you go. So yeah.
I've made 100, I don't know, around 100 YouTube video. I'm over 100. It's like 110 or something like that YouTube videos. And I've been at it now 2.5 years. And I've been at Andy Bird Builds now full time for 2 years.
2 years. Very cool. And how are you liking it? 2 years in. I'm curious to ask. Yeah.
I love it. I really do. I am very, very fortunate to do what I do. But it is very difficult. People are like, well, how difficult can it be working for yourself? Well, I am the worst boss to myself. So imagine, I don't give myself any grace. I always expect more out of myself. And I do that for a dog was walking in here. I do that for a inconsistent paycheck. So how does that sound?
Yeah, no, it's hard. No, like what made you want to go full time? What was the drive?
So I've got a background in, I would say, like, being an entrepreneur.
Okay.
So my dad owns, still to this day, owns a snow removal company in Michigan. And so like my first job was snow plowing. And so I grew up around that and learned a lot from him when it comes to just business. And then when I was just out of college, I wasn't sure which way I wanted to go in the whole grass growing thing. So I actually I started my own business, and I was going to do like athletic field stuff on my own. And so I did that for like 2 years, and I actually did that full time as well. And I also did snow removal. I lived in a different part of the state as my dad. So I kind of put everything that I learned to, everything I learned growing up to the test. And
it's not a bad gig for Michigan either.
Yeah, right.
Plenty of snow.
Plenty of snow. That's where I grew up. So yeah, plenty of snow. So you ask where the drive, where that passion, where that desire came from. I think deep down, I've always wanted to own my own business. I've had that desire. And yeah, so when I found out the CNC had a big part in that, because I found out, like, I was just learning like the things I could do with CNC and the things I could make and the things that I could repeat. Right.
Yep.
And I saw the opportunity there. And so it kind of just all came together. And honestly,
how long ago did you get the CNC?
2018, like,
oh, okay.
2000, it was like November or December of 2018. So we're going on almost 4 years ago.
Yeah, it's very similar to me. I think I might have gotten mine in 2018 as well, actually. Yeah. Maybe, or 19.
All the years blend together.
Who knows anymore? Who knows?
Especially like with all the COVID stuff, like all time references are just really out the window.
It really is. It's hard to remember like how long you've been doing something.
Yeah. So yeah, I was doing a lot of, like, it wasn't just CNC work either. I was doing a lot of like traditional woodworking stuff, and selling it and doing commission stuff there. And that was without YouTube at the time.
Yeah.
And then I added YouTube. And the reason I added YouTube, I think this is really important. And this is where kind of my business mind come, like, just the entrepreneurial thought process. So it's really, really, really hard to grow and scale a true woodworking business. Like if you are building furniture or building cutting boards, I'm just using those examples, but that's right. All you're doing.
Yep.
Like what? So if a woodworker doesn't go to the garage and build that piece of furniture, they don't get paid. Like when they walk away, the business stops. And that's why like those woodworking businesses, like true woodworking businesses, really struggle because they feel like they have to be there.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. The passive income is just not there. Yeah.
And how do you're going to meet, let's say you can build $100,000 in furniture a year. That's great. But you're not going to be able to build any more than that, because you only have a limited number of hours during the day. So the next question is even if, and some people are okay with capping out at that 100 and building furniture, and that's all they want to do, and that's fine. But if you want to grow past that, or if you don't want to build furniture the rest of your life, you've got to think outside of that. And are you going to hire another woodworker to work in your shop? That's hard to do because they're not you. So you're going to have to train them the way that you do things.
Yep. Trust them with all your stuff, not to get hurt.
Yeah. So all of those things were considerations. So my goal is to build, I still build things that require, me to be there. There's no such thing as complete passive or automation. But I'm building a business to where I can scale it up, where I can pass off processes that anybody can do. And, I have several revenue streams to where if anyone is not doing well at the time, another one can. Yeah, it's a lot of streams into one big funnel. Yeah.
Right. I noticed you had your Amazon affiliate store. So there's that. So when you're recommending products, you tag them all on your YouTube so that people can go there, use the link, and just have those small things add up. I don't know how well that works for you, but it's nice to have an option that it might work out well.
Yeah. So Amazon is okay. I could do better. There's people that have built their entire businesses on Amazon affiliates, which just blows my mind. But that does okay. Maybe a couple $100 a month. It's not anything crazy.
Still nice though.
Yeah, it's still nice. So you have YouTube. So my current revenue streams are YouTube, ad revenue, some sponsorships, which are hit or miss, like YouTube video sponsors, Amazon, digital files through my website is a big one. And then we kind of branch off from there too. We do sell files on Etsy. And then my wife, who she's kind of developing, I don't think I have one right here. We're developing the product side of our business as well.
Cool.
Because I think there'll always be an aspect of product sales. Obviously, that's what I started with. And so we've been getting into a lot of laser stuff. And
what kind of products are you thinking about doing?
So can I grab one real quick?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Perfect. It has LEDs in it. And so just like LED fairy lights, and it's all battery operated, it has a switch right here.
It's awesome.
So we designed that ourselves, and we've actually sold quite a few of them. And we're looking to expand that. I think we sold 100 of them last year, and we sold already this year. We've sold I think we're at 40, and awesome. They're mainly some through the website, but mainly on Etsy, which I'm not the biggest fan of Etsy, but
it's a lot of fees. I get it. Yeah.
Yes.
So you're selling them completed, assembled and ready to go?
We sell them in two kits. Yeah, two versions. They assembled and then unassembled.
It's a smart business.
Yeah.
You have to, both options are perfect because you can satisfy both customer base.
I mean, honestly, I prefer if it was only unassembled.
I know.
Hate it. I hate assembling these things.
I'm sure you do. You're like, all right.
I don't mind assembling one of them or 5, but after a while, it's like.
Well, I'm sure your most preferred sale is a file, just selling a file.
Yeah. So files is something that we've dove into the last year, and it's been really, really good. It's my favorite sale. It is one, it helps people save time. So it is a helpful thing that someone is getting, either time or they couldn't design it on their own. But what I found is a lot of people just want to save the 15 minutes or 20 minutes, and they'll throw $3 at that. So, and then 2, it takes 0 on my end to fulfill it.
I love a shirt sale or a hat sale. Oh my God. If I hear cha-ching and I look at my phone and it says you sold a shirt, I'm like,
Yep.
because Printfill does all the work and I get my $6 or whatever I get. I don't care. Just
Right.
it's beautiful $6 that I had to do nothing to earn.
Yep.
Like, it's so nice. People, please buy shirts. They're on the website.
Yes, go buy shirts.
And buy some plans while you're at it over at his website. But I did know. So I was checking out your plans and I thought they were awesome because they like the perfect beginner processes when people are trying to do different things, like having like a hollowed out Christmas tree or something like that. You know what I mean? Like something that is going to be a big seller for them and they have to do none of the work. They can just plug and play and just get going. Because that's, like you said, that's a big thing that stands in people's ways. Okay, we have my CNC, but now how do I use it?
Yeah, exactly. And that's, I want to get better and offer more to eliminate that. Like so this is a big dream of mine, but going on that, what you just said, I would like to offer like complete sets of projects, meaning one day I would like to be a place where someone can have a CNC machine and they literally come to Andy Bird Builds and they get everything they need, like including the wood that they use.
That's cool.
And like they just go on the website and they buy their project and literally everything they need shows up. And, you know, like whether maybe they don't need to buy the bits, but they can buy the bits, or we'll still have those options. But to make, I just think that it'd be really cool. You know, people just want to create and, you know, sourcing wood and coming up with files and tool paths and what tool do I use?
It's exhausting. Like, it is.
It is. We could remove all, like, you know, setting that up and having projects, like you can remove all of that. And I mean, wouldn't it be cool if it just showed up on your door on a Friday and you literally just picked it up, loaded everything, put it on your CNC bed, and you had like that was your weekend. That's what you did a project.
That's great.
And so I think there's a lot of room for those, like to make it easier and make it more accessible for people to create and to use the CNC.
So what made you decide to do that for your content with teaching and talking about different trends that you're seeing with like the 5 projects that you recommend people doing, you know, like what made you want to dive into that?
So a conversation I had with Josh from I Like to Make Stuff. Him and I were talking one day randomly, and I was doing the DIY thing. I really wasn't seeing any traction for my projects. I say that I had one video go viral. I had the stair video go viral. It's almost at 7 million views.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And, but outside of that,
right.
The other, I don't know, 50 videos, I was getting discouraged, and Josh said something to me. So Josh is a pretty straightforward person. And he said something to me along the lines of, you need to do something different than every other white guy with a beard on YouTube. He said, there's 100 of you out there. And what makes you different? What makes you like, what makes someone want to watch you over someone else? And that really got me thinking. And meanwhile, the DIY YouTube thing and the CNC thing were separate. They were going on at the same time, but they were separate. And so I really, really struggled with this. Actually, my wife complimented me last night. She said that she was really proud of me because she knows how tough this was, to bring those two things together. And because that wasn't my initial vision. My initial vision was to do the DIY thing and continue to do DIY projects, and the CNC in the background would kind of fade away when the YouTube thing took off. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it does.
The CNC for a while was just funding my YouTube, my YouTube operation. But the conversation continued with Josh about he won't even remember this conversation. It wasn't like an earth shattering conversation.
Yeah.
But he said, you know, I'd really like to hear more about your CNC business. And I was like, what? Like, why do you want to hear about that? And he's like, I tried to do something like that. And I was selling some wholesale products at the time, and he just wanted to know more about it. And I was like, well, if Josh wants to know more about it, there's got to be other people out there that want to know more about it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I started. I was still doing the DIY. If you look for a while, there's a mixture of DIY content and CNC content.
Yeah, I noticed that because I followed you obviously for the CNC content because I have one, and that popped up as check this video out. And I liked that your flow, it wasn't boring. You know what I mean? Like it was relevant. There wasn't any like bullshit that I didn't need to know or anything like that. Like it was just like, let's go over this stuff and let's, get this done.
Yeah.
I like that.
Good. And that's what I try to do. I try to get to the point. People. All right. Side note, if you're doing YouTube and you're not seeing traction, you just said it. Cut the crap.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'll probably offend some people, but I don't care about your fancy edits. I don't care about your camera shots. Like that's not going to keep me coming back.
You want the answers now. Yeah.
Like I want the information. I want the meat. Unless you're Peter McKinnon or unless you are like some crazy videography channel, people don't care about your cool looking camera shot. They just don't.
I'll say at least depending on the content,
yes.
When you're teaching, give me the goods. If I'm there for entertainment, then give me all those sweet shots. Like, let me see all those cool angles and all your awesome videography. But if I'm trying to learn from you, I just want the facts. Just give me it. Give me the goods.
So you're exactly right.
Yeah.
And that's why I said, like, unless you are a entertainment, you said it, or a like a videography channel or something along those lines, like you can do it for your own enjoyment if you like to do that. Like Bao is really good at that. His
so pretty.
The
sawdust he shows. Whew.
Yeah.
I always tell him he's the master of the close-up.
Yes. Oh, he is.
Right?
And he does a fantastic job, and I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
And remember, I did preface this whole thing with saying, if you're trying to grow on YouTube and not seeing the growth that you want to see.
No, yep, totally.
Like, there's some people that okay, maybe 1 or 2 camera shots is really cool, but you just showed me 2-minute montage and it did not move the process along at all. So anyways, that's just a pet peeve of mine, but I had to learn that the hard way. And again, if you like doing that and you don't care about growth, then continue to do it and I'll continue to watch it. But if you do want to grow and you're showing me like 85% of your build video is just silky smooth shots with like I just if you think about it, like me personally, like watching a build video, just talking about build videos, what's gonna you really have to ask yourself, like, what is going to make someone want to watch my video again, like the next time? Because people remember the experience that they had. So like you said, like my videos are like, there's no crap, it's to the point. Like, you're going to get that every single time. And so your previous video has a lot to do with the success of your next video.
That makes sense.
And we don't think about it that way. We think about, we put a video out there and we want it to do well, but really your videos build on each other, and people will give you a little bit of their time to test you out. But if it's not what they expected, or they didn't get anything out of it, they're not coming back.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. Is there anything that you want to talk about before we head off? I know our time is just about up. Is there anything you want to promote that you have going on?
So I'll just say this. I'm working on a big project. Cool. And I'm looking at it right now. So I can't do that and not show you. But anyways, so I'm working on my first online course. Nice. And it is right here in these stack of note cards.
Beautiful.
I've got it all written, and the next step is to shoot it all. It's going to be a video course, and the title's not 100% decided on yet, but it's going to be about making money. You guessed it, making money with your CNC.
Yeah.
So
that's great. It's super relevant. We were just voting on different things that people want to learn at Workbench Con for this year. So I don't know if you know, I work with Kristen Stockdale to plan it. I don't know if you know my involvement at all.
I knew you were involved. I just didn't know how.
Yes. Yeah. So I run the social media, and then I also am helping her plan it and stuff and organize and everything. But one of the things we were wondering is, like, are people going to start moving into the online course area? And we felt like it was super relevant. And the voting was, there's a lot of people interested. I think like 50 or so people were like, yes, I do plan on making online courses. So the future is definitely going to be pretty cool. You're going to have lots of materials from a lot of people, it looks like, and it's just going to help anybody starting out.
Yeah. And so that's again, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to introduce people to the world of CNC that have never seen it before. And then 2, show them how to make money with it, or show them how to profit with it. And so a course fits right into that. And my business is really missing that. I've actually had a lot of people ask me for one over the last little bit, the last year or so. And I really don't have kind of a flagship way, other than, like, you could go back through my YouTube videos and watch every single one of them. But it's not concise. It's not in one spot. It's not digestible with follow-up questions and getting people thinking. So it's going to have all of that. So
very cool. I'm excited to see it.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited to get it out. So
I appreciate you coming out here and chatting with me.
For sure. This was awesome.
We'll have to harass about later and just like, what's up, dude?
Yeah. He stood me up.
Yeah.
Stood us up.
Yes. No, he stood you up. It's a true insult. You really got to get him for it later.
Yeah, I will.
All right. Well, have a great day.
Yeah, you too. Great talking to you.
You too. Bye. All right. I hope you enjoyed getting to know Andy. Like I said, I found him because I had bought my CNC and I was looking for videos that were going to be informative and help me with things and, actually entertaining. So check him out. I am always impressed with the amount of stuff that he will pump through his shop. I am taking a couple weeks off, and I'll be back soon enough with Andrew from Cold Brew Woodworking. So stay tuned, and in the meantime, come find me at the Maker Camp in the Catskills in New York in the Sabertooth tent. I'll be there with Sadie from the Awesome Orange, and we are going to be carving up a ton of different things. I've got spoons and bowls and charcuterie boards. So come join the fun. And a huge shout out to Miller's Rustic Sawmill. They sent us a giant pallet full of wood for everybody to play with. There are all kinds of different thickness levels and types of hardwoods. So I'm pumped to pop that crate open and see what's in there. And if you are looking for some more podcasts while you miss me, check out Carver Conversations, a Sabertooth podcast. It's got a ton of great people on there. Most recently, Anne of All Trades, which was a blast. She was so so just like focused and attentive and gave me anxiety because she saw right through my soul and was asking me all kinds of fun questions. So I love it when people kind of like turn the table on me and turn it around, as I've got to spill my guts every once in a while. Anyways, I'm going to stop just rambling and you have a great day. Bye.